The third day of the 2025 Gold River Roadbook Rally contains 3 loops, all connected through the town site, for a total distance of around 150 kilometers. The final, smaller loop featured some technical sections southeast of the town site. The second loop followed active logging roads, taking us to 800 meters elevation and steep, loose gravel on the roads. Stick around to see what those active logging roads look like and how the Himalayan 450 handles them. But the day started on Saunders Main, an abandoned section of logging road that begins with a steep, rocky section off the highway. Unfortunately, I experienced a failure with my helmet cam, so I only had my B cams recording for the first loop, which is why this section has voiceover instead of first-person narration. I've ridden this section twice before on previous rallies. My first time was on my Africa Twin, where the power was great, but I was intimidated by the weight of the bike. Last year was on my Honda CRF 250L, which was adequate to the task, even if I had to wring its neck a bit to push it up the hill. Now on my Royal Enfield 450, I felt in control. My only issue with the Himalayan is that sometimes I'm not going fast enough for second gear and it lugs a bit, but I don't want to drop down to first. I'm wondering if the larger cog that's available for the rear sprocket might give me a little more torque in second without lugging the bike. Drop a comment if you think that's a good idea, or maybe I should just learn to ride faster in rough terrain. I ran into Eric and Bill, the 2 riders who I encountered at our roadblock on the second day. I actually ended up riding near Eric and Bill on all 3 days, as I met them toward the end of the first day as well. We must be riding at around the same pace. After completing the steep section, Saunders Main becomes a bit more level, but the fast-growing alders crowding the road and occasional slide areas with their boulders kept me on my toes. One slide across the trail stands out in my memory as being about 2 feet high. Now it's either been eroded down over the last 2 years or my memory is playing tricks on me, as it seemed like it was only a small hump to cross. After about 26 kilometers, Saunders Main joins up with East Main, which takes us down to West Road and then back to Gold River. Although I'm not riding the roadbook competition, there was a RICTA control point at this intersection. According to my video timing, I would have been about 6 minutes late for this control point, which would have resulted in 360 penalty points. Top riders were under 100 points. Stick around to the end of the video to see who won the competition. Of course, I missed a turn and had to turn around to make the connection for the road back to Gold River. Finally arrived at the control point, ready to begin the second loop. I finally realized that my main camera wasn't on as I began the steep rocky section that led to our highest elevation of the day. Here comes the last one now because those guys passed me. Okay, so this I have done before, and it's a bear terms of some of the uphill stuff. Although I did it on the Africa Twin, which means that I was very, very intimidated by the steepness and looseness. That's nice cliffs, beautiful scenery. I remember this being rough and loose and steep. And it just keeps going up. What goes up must come down. The little Himalayan can do it. Yeah, right around here. After stopping to fly my drone, I mismanaged my main camera again. I think that's an indication of the fatigue that arises after 3 days of intense off-road navigation, and a testament to the guys who completed the whole route, hitting all the control points. As always, the camera tends to make the road seem less steep, but as I descend these steep, loose sections, you can hear my rear wheel skidding. Notice the large size of the gravel on the road. Forestry roads are made for heavy logging trucks, which don't mind the large size of the gravel, but bikes skid easily on these rocks. Fortunately, I remembered to turn off the ABS on the Himalayan. It's easy to do, but you have to remember to do it before you start the bike, because you can't do it on the fly. By the time I descended back down to the less technical parts of the road, I had decided that I would skip the last loop and head to the location where the rest of the group had gathered. Even so, I arrived late, after the awarding of the weekend's championship to Owen Pardiak. Well done, Owen. Next year's event is already being planned, and registration will be limited to 50 riders. Considering the growth from 2024, early registration could be important, as it's likely to sell out. I think next year I'll ride in the Roadbook competition, not because I think I'm likely to win, but just to be on the scoreboard. Competing or not, this is a great event and a wonderful challenge for adventure and dual sport riders of all skill levels. A link to the registration can be found in my show notes.